Oh, kind of, sir. Madam Attorney. Hello, Madam Attorney. How are you? Good to see you. Yes. Yes. Oh. So just real quick, who's here for the alcohol portion? The officer. So we got our investigator and, from the establishment. Who's here from the establishments? Regarding the underage deal?
You've arrived at your destination.
Anyone? Alright. All right, everybody, looks like we got past the bails. So I think we can safely get right into it. All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. This is the City of Camilla regular council meeting. And we're here on the first floor, the Honorable Mary Jo Hayward, Council Chambers. And at this time, I'd like to turn to our City Clerk and Assistant City Manager, Sheriff Ford, to call the roll, please.
Councilman Barley,
Here.
Councilman Morgan,
Here.
Councilman Collins,
Here.
Councilman Palmer.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl, and thank you, Council. At this time, I'd like to turn to our City Manager, Ed Strauss, to lead us in prayer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, Father God, we thank you so much for this day that you've seen fit to wake us up once again. Now, God, at this time, oh God, I pray that you bless the minds of these men that will go about the city's business. God, touch their minds, touch their hearts. God, I pray for their households today as we continue to go about the city's business. God, I thank you for the citizens of Antennas. Bless them and keep them. In Jesus' mighty name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, City Manager. Thank everybody for the pledge. And Council, before we're going to item 3, approval of the agenda, I will be remiss but did not acknowledge the President of our awesome City Attorney, Attorney Wiley, here with us today. And with that, Council, is there a motion to approve the agenda for today?
Motion to approve.
Okay. A motion to properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. At this time, Council, is there a motion to approve the minutes from the July 1st, 2024 called council meeting? So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. Council, at this time, is there a motion to approve the July 8th, 2024 minutes from the council meeting, July 8th, 2024? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion to properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. All right. At this time, do we have any speaker appearances? Yes, come on up.
Hi.
How are you, ma'am? I see if that green light is on.
It is that.
Yes, ma'am, just state your name. If you're here in the city or the county, where you from?
Holly Phillips, I'm a Mitchell County resident,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm here as a user and supporter of our library. I'm a proud member of our newly established Friends of DeSoto Trail Regional Libraries, and we actually coincidentally have 2 other members here tonight. We have Myla Adams, who is our president. I'm sorry, Claire. Your emails are mine. And we also have Lydia Bullard, who's our vice president, and I'm our secretary. So I'm just here to talk about. I think that a lot of people think that an institution like the public library will just always be there. And the truth is that it's people like me who use the library who have to make it known to the people like you who make the decisions about funding just how much we need and how much we love the library. So I would just like to tell you about my personal story and my experience with the library. So, I've lived in Mitchell County for the majority of my life, and so I've always used the library so that I don't have to buy books, number one. But at different times in my life, the library has meant different things to me. So when I was a young adult and I was applying for jobs, I would come to the library to use the computers and the printers because I didn't have that at home, and that's back when we used to have to send out paper, but that's showing my age. And I definitely got a good job from a resume that I sent out with the library. And then later, I was a non-traditional student, so I went to college later in life, and both my college and my master's degree, especially my master's degree, I used the resources of our public library because I, again, did not have internet at home. I didn't have computers and printers. And so you could often find me at the library and my grad school was mostly online. So you would find me at the library finishing my assignments and submitting them. Sometimes you would find me in the parking lot after hours at the library, so I could submit my paper like at 11:59, right before the deadline. And if it weren't for me being able to utilize our public library resources, I would not have been able to get those degrees. And it certainly led me to getting my professional career. And, now I'm a homeowner here and I contribute to our community. And I think it's really just a testament to that return on investment that you get when you support and you invest in your library, and your citizens can improve themselves, and then it improves our whole community. I also have a child now, so I use the library in that way because he does summer reading and we check out books. From the time that he was a baby, I read books to him. And he's in 4th grade now, but he's always scored at the highest percentile of the milestones and all of that. And I think it's because I read to him from the time that he was a baby, and those were library books. I could not go to Books A Million and go buy 20 books every month. And I know that there are, just at the Camilla Library, there are 4,193 active library card holders. So there are over 4,000 other stories that people could tell you about how they use this library and what it means to them. September's Library Sign-Up Card Month, that's a national initiative. I just want to personally encourage you, if you don't already have a library card, go to the library and get a card, and you can see all of the amazing resources that they have there. I don't know where you are at your budget process, but I do ask that you please increase the funding back to at least back to what it used to be, so that the library can continue to provide these resources that mean so much to me and my family and so many families in Camilla. And I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to thank you all for your support of the library and all that you do for Camilla.
All right, thank you. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for speaking, and actually for the organizing work that the Friends of the Library are doing. There's a lot that can be done when that type of organizing is happening. I'm just curious, in you all's work plans too, are you at all speaking with our state legislators on this issue?
Not yet. We have just started, and so our ultimate goal is to be an advocate for the library in all ways, for support, for funding. So I would love to see our group be able to start advocating on all levels in that way.
I think that would be another excellent, just point of advocacy in this. Because I think through this process, we did see how just the structure of state funding is also flawed as well.
It's all very complicated. I know the libraries, they can be different from system to system all over the state. And yes, there are definitely different revenue streams. And I really hope that the organization that we've created is going to learn all of that and start to be a big voice for our community.
If Councilman Morgan, if you don't mind, I want to piggyback just a little bit on what you're saying, and as always, you're always highlighting important points. But I want to tell you, my friend, that I truly appreciate this approach. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a lot easier to have a comprehensive conversation when the temperature is all the way down here. So I really do appreciate that approach. And whereas we may have varying ideas of how funding for the library should be, to Councilman Morgan's point, I can always appreciate conversation where the temperature is turned way down. Because I think there's probably an opportunity in partnership, because I think, to Councilman Morgan's point, that the larger issue for many of us sitting up here is that it is a flawed state system that is putting local municipalities and local entities in these positions where we are expected, if you will, to make these kind of fundings. for an organization like the library, as important as it is. And I see an opportunity to where we can partner to advocate together as it relates to the state legislature to do more. And I think having these kind of conversations, creating a comprehensive space, if you will, where we're utilizing the resources of the city and the enthusiasm of your organization to get with our state legislatures and really show them where the flaw is from some of our perspectives. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. I appreciate Friends of the Library. This is the second time I'm a member of your organization have come here, and you come here and you talk about stories, and you talk about process and what it means to you personally. It is that kind of stuff that we truly appreciate. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I hope you will find that our organization will always come with good intent. We realized through kind of the things that have happened over the last year that, the library needed a voice, and I think we could all, just as citizens, remember that we should probably speak out before things get troublesome, just, it's a good reminder, so thank you.
All right, thank
We'll
you.
always come with good intent.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Any other speakers? Yes, sir. Come on up, my friend.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
My name is Dr. Lott, and I have Bridget Mosley and Lauren Falk with me. We are from an organization called Care Connect Health. It's a community health center, and we have 45 offices in 28 Georgia counties. And there is a small federal grant which has been announced, and we would like to apply that grant to open a clinic here at Sylvester. So we try to open 2 clinics now. The question comes, we already have medical facilities, so where do we, or what do we bring to the table for the residents of this city and the county? The first and foremost and the most important thing is that we provide discounted services to uninsured and underinsured patients. We accept everybody, Medicaid, Medicare. So just to give you an example, if a patient who has no insurance comes to us and they bring their proof of income, which could be W-2 if they are not really working, they are working for a mom and pop business, even on a simple piece of paper. If the employer says they make this much weekly or monthly or yearly, whatever, we calculate the yearly income based on that and the family size. And based on that, the minimum sliding fee we have is $35 and the maximum is $50. So $35, they can see one of our providers, Lauren Falk. She is a provider actually she's a native of Sylvester. She works for us in our Port office. And if we get the grant, she'd like to work in this area now because this is her home turf. And she understands the community a lot better than any of us. Talking about underinsured, so there are lots of insurances available where people have to pay the first $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 before the insurance kicks in. The ACA, which everybody knows as Obamacare, is such type of insurance where the person who's enrolled has to spend a certain amount before the insurance starts paying. So those are the people, if they bring the proof of income and the family size, they can be seen either at $35, $40, $45, or $50. Now, somebody, and again, you take it as a joke, I always tell it in a very humorous way. Tomorrow Bill Gates moved to South Georgia, and he says, no, I don't have any insurance. If he comes to any of our offices, and he says, no, I'm not going to show you a proof of income, but I have no insurance. We take everybody's word. They don't have to prove that they don't have insurance. Bill Gates will be seen in $50. So what I'm trying to say is that 35 to 50 is our discounted rate, and anyone who's underinsured, uninsured qualify for that. We do accept Medicaid patients, all the Medicaid patients, Medicare patients, commercial insurances. Actually, we see a lot of kids from Camilla at our Leesburg office. We have a pediatrics office there. And that's how kind of the idea came to us, that why they have to travel 35 miles? Why don't we come here in this community itself? So again, the gas prices, as everybody feels the pain, have gone up. And for people who are on Medicaid, for people who are uninsured, it hurts more than any of us. The other important thing is that majority of our 45 offices are open 11 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we work 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. 363 days a year. The only 2 days our offices are closed are Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. But otherwise we are open. So what that does is, even if somebody goes to another physician or a doctor's office, after 5 o'clock, there's nobody available unless they go to ER. And let's say a child is or even an adult patient has a strep throat. Now sitting in ER for 6 to 8 hours just to get Z-back, they can come to us. And again, compared to ER,
And excuse me, doctor,
Yes, sir.
my apologies, give me 1 second. Council, and typically we get 3 minutes. But
Oh, I'm
council,
sorry.
hold on 1 second, doctor, what you're saying sounds pretty good. Council, if there is unanimous consent, we can add another 2 minutes to the doctor's time to speak. Any objections? Doctor, please.
okay, so I'll try to finish in 2 minutes. And I apologize. I didn't
No,
know-
you're fine, my friend, you're fine.
We also offer discounted medicines to uninsured and underinsured patients. We contract with the local pharmacies, and I can give you an example, one of the asthma inhalers, which on the open market, if somebody wanted to pay cash, it would cost $300. Through our discounted program, they'll get it in $60. And especially, it works extremely well for those people who have chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes. The other thing is, we draw labs and we daily contact with West and LabCorp. Now, we see 40,000 patients a month across all our 45 offices. So these labs give us a huge discount, which we don't make any money, we pass it on to the patient. So a patient comes in and they want to get their cholesterol checked or a whole battery of tests, it's sometimes 80 to 90% less than if you go to a doctor's office or to the hospital. So these are the things we bring to the table, and on top of that, we will create at least 12 to 15 good paying jobs in the city. Because we have 3 providers, and then the rest of them will be the nursing staff and the receptionist staff. So we will create 15 jobs. So we are requesting, if we can get a letter of support from the city, that they feel that there's a need in the community for something like this, it will strengthen our grant application. There are only 58 grants across the United States, so 1 grant per state. It's highly competitive, it's only for 1 year, and because we are opening 2 offices, we'll be able to use that at least for just starting the office. And then majority of our offices are self-sustainable. It's a Walmart principle, volume, a lot of people come in, and a lot of commercial insurance patients come in because we are open 11 hours, 7 days a week. So we can subsidize the care for the uninsured. So there is no burden to the city or the county financially in any which way, even to the state. The state doesn't give us a subsidy. So we are requesting a letter of support from the city to go with our grant application.
All right, and doctor, if you don't mind, just real quick, just a couple of quick questions. The template for that letter, if considered by the council, is that something that you provide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In terms of, I know in the past, that there's been conversations regarding certificates of needs and that type of thing.
No, it's not.
Does that apply to you guys?
No, it's just that the city supports the grant application for Care Connect Health to open a health center, which will really mitigate the access barriers and the need. Because again, in South Georgia, a lot of people who have no insurance, and we are the only ones who really take care of the uninsured population.
Yes, sir. And what is the deadline for this grant?
It's actually first week of September, so
All right. All right, so in pure transparency, council, the doctor and his organization reached out to the city manager. Then a couple of days later, I received a phone call from a good friend here, and the way I roll is, if you're serious, 6 o'clock. That's the same thing I tell our citizens. Is that important? Come to talk to the
oh,
council.
we are here, sir. Yeah, we understand it's very important, and we want to serve the communities who really need us the most.
Indeed, and I think you raised a good point as it relates to our kids here, and we know the stats as it relates to our kids here in this community, so we appreciate you for that. The question is, considering your deadline, how, because if it's coming from the city, then that means it comes from the council.
Actually, in the past, the mayor of the city council has signed the letter.
Yeah, so the same way I asked you guys to come here tonight, because we could have just had a conversation on the phone, but the way I operate,
Right.
that if it comes from the city,
And
I prefer the support of the council. And, here's what I would say, is if the council, and I can ask to amend the agenda to consider this, if the council wants to give me that authority, to evaluate the intent, if you will, I'd be more than happy to do that, but I can only do that, with the authority, of the council. With that being said, what I would do is say, council, is there a motion to amend tonight's agenda to authorize the mayor to consider the letter of support by Care Connect Health
yes,
for their deadline in September? Is there a motion to add that as an action item to our agenda for this evening?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion proper second, any discussion?
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a no-brainer. We talk about just some of the issues that keep me up at night is the access barriers piece and transportation for Southwest Georgia. Something that I really want us to work on for this region. Like you mentioned, there's no reason my folks should have to be driving across county lines to
absolutely.
take care of their families. My other question, I heard some of the services, but can you clarify what services could Camilla residents expect?
It is primary family practice services.
Thank you.
That also includes urgent care, as well, because we do stitches, we see sick people. We take in walk-ins from 9 to 8, so even if someone walks in at 7:59, we will not turn them away. And for myself, as a family nurse practitioner, I see ages from 0 all the way till however long you live.
Thank you.
Indeed.
And we do have some pamphlets, if people don't mind there.
Sure. Absolutely.
Is it okay if I?
Did you just say that? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the council or comments?
I just want to say thank you, doctor, for choosing this area, and there is a great need here. And,
Sorry, as I said, in Leesburg, we started seeing upward trend, people coming from Mitchell County and Camilla. And that's why we thought that, why don't we propose to open a health center here?
Indeed. And again, we are appreciative of that consideration. Yes, sir. Any other comments or questions for the doctor? For the doctors? Again, council motion on the floor is to amend tonight's agenda to consider authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of support for Care Connect Health going forward. Is there any other comments or questions? All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carried. So what will happen, doctor, is a little bit later in our agenda tonight, that question will come back up in order to authorize you to do that.
Okay,
All right,
Thank you very
all
much.
right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you, thank you. All right. All right, any other speaker appearances? Any other speaker appearances? Okay, hearing none, we will move on, to our hearings for the alcohol license holders. Just to make sure, do we have any representatives from One Stop Convenience? All right, and what about Susie Q's? Any representative from Susie Q's? All right, so at this time, Madam Attorney, if you don't mind, if you can just kind of let the public know what we're about to do and why we're doing it, and then we'll have our investigator come in, but at this time, I'll turn it over to you, Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, for this purpose, Mayor Council, you will be taking off your legislative hat and you will be sitting in a quasi judicial capacity to hear this particular matter, items 6A and 6B. Under the City of Camilla Alcohol Ordinance, Section 9-2-2F.
Madam Attorney, you got the green light.
It is on, I need to get closer to the mic? Okay. So you will be putting on your quasi judicial hat to hear the items 6A and 6B this evening. Under your ordinance 9-2-2F, revocation, suspension, and reinstatement of licenses. It sets forth the process for revoking or suspending a license for any of several occurrences. And one of those occurrences is under F1B, when the license holder, his manager, or any other employee shall be charged with a violation of any federal, state, or municipal law, ordinance, or regulation. And that is what is in the notice letter that was sent to the two alcohol license holders here. So what the process will entail this evening for the public is that the legislative body sitting in a quasi judicial capacity will first hear from the officer who will provide testimony as to the underlying charge or offense. The license holder will then be able to come up and speak. This body can ask questions of the officer and or the license holder once during their time of speaking. If the license holder, once you complete your statement to this body, the officer can come back up and have the last word and answer any questions if there are anything that need clarifying after that. After that process has concluded and all of the testimony is ended, then this body can start your deliberations and discussion amongst yourselves as to what your thoughts are on the evidence heard. And after that, someone can make a motion to go back into the legislative capacity with someone making a motion to either, whatever, however you want to resolve the matter. So we'll talk about that and what those fines and the options are after you've heard the evidence and after your deliberations. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so, at this time, what I'd like to do is have our investigator come and, tell us what we are working with this evening.
If you just state your name, and how you are employed.
My name is Danielle Chaseman. I'm an investigator with the Camilla Police Department. In this case that we worked, sometimes we get complaints and things like that for some of the stores selling to underage individuals. On March 21st, around 6 o'clock, we began our investigation on this. We actually had a CI that was under the age of 21 come in. We were able to sign them up. And how we did it was we had an investigator ride the vehicle with the CI, go to each store, see if the CI could go in by themselves.
And just give an investigator just for, all of us.
I'm sorry, confidential informant, I'm sorry.
And if you would clarify, we're taking these in item by item, so we're beginning, if you identify the store that.
Yes, ma'am, I was given the background of how we did it and then get to the store location.
That's perfect. Thank you.
So we actually get a list of stores that do have an alcohol sales license, from City Hall, so we know which stores actually do sell. So we then began going to each store, the confidential informant is explained, go in, select, alcohol item, go to the clerk, attempt to buy, if they do not, ask for your ID, finish the purchase and walk out, and they'll turn the items over to the investigator that was in the car with them. In doing so, but if they did ask for the ID, then the confidential informant will turn around and leave the store without purchase. So the two stores that, this occurred at, one being Camilla Express and the other at Susie Q's, the two stores that we actually made an arrest for. Let me get my other papers. The confidential informant went inside the store. The first one being, let's see, Camilla Express, and actually picked up a 6-pack of Natural Light, went to the counter, went to pay for the items, was not asked for an ID to see if he was of age to buy the alcohol. So he went ahead and purchased the alcohol, left the store, and handed the items to the investigator that was driving the car with him. And we went around to different locations, ended up at Susie Q's. He chose a pack of Michelob Ultra, again, went to the clerk to make the purchase, and was successful in making the purchase and brought the items back to the investigator. Out of all the stores that we were able to go to, these were the only 2 stores that actually sold to our underage confidential informant.
How many stores you go to?
Let me make sure, because I know there were a couple that were actually closed early. Oh, 12, and that does include Mama Rita's. We actually went into Mama Rita's to see if they would sell. But as far as the stores, these were the only 2.
Okay, out of 12 establishments.
Yes, sir.
Did I hear you correctly in saying that once the confidential informant comes back out, you guys actually go in and arrest whoever did that, is that right?
Yes, sir. What we do is we finish up all of the actual purchases that they do sell, and then we'll go back and actually pick up, because what happens is they'll have an actual camera on that the clerk won't see or knows recording, so then we can go back and review the footage and actually tell which clerk sold the item to the confidential informant and know which person's actually arrested for the underage sale.
And I think if you could, investigator, give us the addresses for each of those.
Yes, ma'am.
Vendors.
Camilla Express, I'm gonna give the right address.
300 Newton Road.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have it in the citation as Strata Enterprise LLC doing business as One Stop Convenient Number 6.
Yes, ma'am. They, whenever we do the, that's what they have, Camilla Express is what they have outside the building.
Okay.
So that's a lot of times what we always refer to it as, but that is correct.
And then the second citation address is ABA Developments LLC doing business as Susie Q's.
Yes, ma'am.
Located at Highway 19 South.
Yes, ma'am.
And, Camilla. Okay. And those feature those locations were in the municipal limits of the city.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, investigator.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for the investigator? Counsel?
What was the, we had 12 that we actually visited, do we have the amount of stores total that we have?
Yeah, I actually have a printout that I actually got from, let's see. There are actually 15 establishments, but let's see. There were 3 that were closed at the time, or 2 that were closed, I'm sorry.
And and do we keep a track of, like, what's the reprimand, what has that been, in past infractions, or does it keep that?
Yeah, well, I would assume that the police department has a record of who's done what, but I think also this way, Administratively, we do, but I think tonight, with some of, or both of the folks or the establishments that we're dealing with, there's something related to the new ordinance that kind of triggers something different. So, but yeah, to answer that question.
Also, investigator, I know you mentioned that it was like 3 stores that was closed.
Yes.
Do you all, gonna revisit those stores?
Yeah, we were gonna, plan to do another, operation, to get every store, but this particular night, I believe one of the businesses had already closed, and then one had closed earlier than what we expected.
Question. Is this the first, second, or third offense at either one of these stores?
I didn't bring my other case file. I believe I know this for a fact that this is the first one for Camilla Express, or the, one on highway, on the Newton Highway. I'm not 100% sure for Susie Hughes, according to the records that I have right now.
And Councilman, the staff has, I believe, have identified that this is the first offense for both. On the new ordinance, and that's why I wanted to make that stipulation under the new ordinance. So both will be, considered first offense to see. Because of the new ordinance.
Investigator, the state law, I think it's OCGA 3-2381, makes it unlawful, makes this, what occurred if the CI makes that unlawful.
Yes, they're
In addition to-
supposed to check and verify that the person is, over the age, is 21 or over the age of 21 before making the sale.
And that's either directly, and the license holder is responsible, as your understanding, even for the actions of the employees.
Yes, ma'am, the
Even if the license
employee,
holder did not actually engage in the purchase.
yes, ma'am, the employee, did get in trouble for the underage sale, but it is up to management and the owner to make sure that their employees abide by the state laws and make sure that they are checking the licenses the way they're supposed to.
And those citations are still pending.
I did not check with our clerk report today. I know one did pay out, and I think the other one did end up paying out, later on that evening.
Appreciate you investigating. If you don't mind, if, just hang out this for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, do we have, any representative from, One Stop Convenience? Come on up, my friend. State your name for the record, my friend.
Hey, I'm Dixit Patel and I'm owner of One Convenience Stop. Okay, we've been running that store in 2016 January to till here, so it's going to be 9 years end of December. But we never got the violation from city. This is the first time. It's not supposed to be happen like that, but after COVID, we have a lot of new employees on that store, and that's what happened. And after that happened, we put the new scanner, which like a scan ID, like it shows he's minor or not. But we will do everything we not do the like to everybody. It's happened by mistake.
Sure.
So, and this is probably second time in 9 years.
Yes, sir.
One time from the state and from the city, second time.
Indeed. Well, what I can tell you is, hey, we appreciate you choosing Camilla to have your business here, sir. We truly appreciate that. And obviously, we treat any potential business in our city as partners with us. And as partners, I'm sure you can expect that there's certain things that you require of the city with having your business here. And conversely, there are things that we require of our business partners for what they do here in the community. We appreciate you showing up here That says a lot, and we appreciate that. Obviously, we'll get into what will happen next here in a minute. But I think what happened in the city, we appreciate your business here in the city, we appreciate your partnership, we appreciate you showing up here tonight. But again, there's expectations from everybody. You know what I mean? Okay.
Thank
Yes, sir, thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I want to get clarification on the record. You indicated you put a new scan in.
Yeah.
Does that mean when the alcohol is scanned before the purchase is completed, it prompts something on the screen?
Yeah, like
to
when
say,
like some minor come on the register and employee have to ask the IDs. And he got to scan the ID barcode on backside. And if it's not, it says it's minor on my computer system. And if it's old enough, then it's just printer. So we recently got the new technology.
All right. Any other questions? Well, again, we appreciate that investment in that technology, and hopefully this won't happen again. All right, so council, you have in front of you what can be the response, or for lack of better words, the punishment, if you will, for this first offense as relates to our new ordinance. For first offense, 2 days suspension, after which license may be reinstated upon payment of reinstatement fee up to $750. Council, I guess I'll get started from my perspective. The 2 day suspension, from my perspective, is automatic. And also, when you consider that this is the circumstance where the investigator, through a confidential informant who was underage, went into this establishment and purchased this. So this individual actually got caught. What I'm concerned with is who didn't get caught prior to that night. And with that being said, to ensure that others, and with the technology that you got, council, I would recommend the 2 day suspension and the maximum fine of $750. There is no other, from my perspective, there is no other resource in our city than our children. And at all costs, they have to be looked out for, and our community has to be looked out for. But that's my recommendation. The floor is open for any counters to that or any other thoughts. All right, Madam Attorney, with the opening of a recommendation, do we wait until the other two, or we can handle? Okay.
I am curious, to
Yes, sir.
how the new ordinance comes into play for the first time offender. Well, that makes them now first time offender.
Sure.
Just because we have a new ordinance about alcohol sales in the city.
Yeah, so what I would do is turn to the city attorney to that, but I believe that there may be elements that have changed that I think out of fairness triggers that, but to get the real deal answer to that, I'll turn it to the city attorney. My friend, while the city attorney and the city clerk is working this out, please feel free to have a seat.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Mayor and Council, it looks like on August 16, 2021, the section 9(2)-12 violation and penalties that has not been was passed, but hadn't made its way into the code per se, would govern the penalties. So let me read what the city clerk has alerted me to. Is that first, under 9(2)-12, It shall be unlawful for any person to violate any of the provisions of the chapter. And then here's the following guidelines for disposition of alcohol beverage license violations. First offense within past 2 years is a 30-day suspension and $150 reinstatement fee. And that was done, I think, historically, in the legislative history from our very able city clerk, I think the thinking of the legislative body at that time was that a 2-day suspension would not be enough to bring the point home. And so this body decided to make the reinstatement fee less, but the suspension longer, because that would be, I'm assuming, more punitive and would have more of a, get more of an impetus for this not to happen again. So the first offense within the past 2 years is a 30-day suspension and $150 reinstatement fee. And that differs from what's actually in the code. We're doing, in the process of moving everything that was done into the code now, so. That is your, that's your violation table. Second offense, 90-day suspension and $250 reinstatement. Second offense, within the 12-month period, is complete revocation. So there is an increase in the suspension period. It used to be 2 days, $750 max fine. Today, as of August 2021, is 30 days and a $150 reinstatement fee.
All right. So Madam Attorney, is the 150 the maximum?
It just said, it doesn't even say up to, if you recall, Mr. Mayor, I did have from when I cited to you on the one that's in the code, the previous version said up to $750, a 2-day suspension and a fee of up to $750. The revised version from 2021 says 30-day suspension and $150 reinstatement fee.
All right, so what we're working with there, if I'm hearing you correctly, have not been codified, or I'm using that term, but pushed into Municode.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the option here is a 30-day suspension, up to 30 days, or flat 30 days. How are you interpreting that?
It says a flat 30 days here. It doesn't even, I don't know if Councilman Palmer can give the history on this, since you're the resident historian for
That's
us.
our amendment, it was up to, we chose anywhere from 1 to 30.
Yeah, it doesn't say that in 92-12, but you certainly, there's nothing that requires you to make this decision actually tonight, your final decision. In fact, we can take this under advisement. We can give you all the legal, the legislative history on this, and you can issue the opinion, your decision, writing to the license holder, or authorize the city manager to do it. I'm not sure how you all want to do it, but if you want clarification on that.
But if we're not gonna go by this, why is this only?
This is what's from Municode. So your city code is online, and you all use Municode as a electronic online system to put all your codes in. When you make additional changes via resolution, there is sometimes a lag getting those resolutions, getting Municode to update and incorporate the newest and greatest version. And so that's what happened here on August 16, 2021. You all revised that particular code section, and that's, so we have to do a little more research with your minutes to see if the reasons why, but I don't recall the reasons why. The 992, this apparently is the old version and not the 2021 version.
Why was we given this then to the?
I just told you that the Municode version, that comes straight from Municode, which is the online version, of all your code of ordinances. And sometimes there's a lag between the two, so working with the,
So we're under 21 code is what you're saying?
yes. Yes.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm trying to figure out why, because surely the city attorney hasn't been here for 3 years. Why, since 2021, the city code, well, you know what, let me stop there. Council, here's what I recommend. There's absolutely no way, legislatively or any other way, to, tonight anyway, to hold folks, or to make a decision as relates to, in my mind, 30 days suspension of the license for first offense, in my mind, is, obviously that's well beyond $750 for them, but at the same time, if the language in there is supposed to be up to, which it appears it should be, but I think listening to the city attorney, she would advise, if that's not what's in the code or in the ordinance, she's not going to advise us that we can interpret it that way. So I think we may have to do some work as it relates to getting that language right.
I can do some legislative work history on this, and you all can postpone this decision to the first workshop meeting in September. We'll have all of that, I can do a memo, update you all, and give you all the historical references that brings us to where we are now. And I think that's best. I think that's best.
Indeed. So, yes, sir.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, hearing what the city attorney just said, at this point, how do I advise staff to, is this business as usual right now? Okay,
So yes, but his business license has not been revoked even since the, I don't know if the state has done anything, but the city has not done anything just yet. So if you see that, I think this particular incident took place a few months ago. And so we're waiting, just a few more weeks, and before I would advise council to make a decision on the matter as important as someone's actual livelihood like this, so. Perhaps we could just postpone, if there's a motion to postpone the final decision until the first workshop meeting in September, and you all have everything you need.
I just want to make sure I advise the chief the right way.
Well, he can still do his work. The issue of penalties is for a court or this body, so they continue to do their work regardless.
All right. Council, is there a motion? Is there a motion to suspend or postpone rather, actions related to the underage sales of One Stop Convenience number 6 and Suzy Q's number 7 until the September work session here for the city of Camilla. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion, proper second, any discussion? All right, what I would say to the One Stop Convenience and to Suzy Q's, that please make no mistake.
Yes, sir.
We will be addressing this in about 3 weeks. What we would ask you to do, and what it appears you guys are trying to do, is to make sure that your employees, and obviously what you're doing there at your business, that you guys are being extremely responsible and careful as it relates to the sale of alcohol. But again, we will come back to this in September. Okay?
Yeah, we never have issues with the state, and so they were suspended or revoked license, last 9 months.
Okay. All right. All right, thank you. Council, any other comments? Questions? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, gentlemen, you're good to go. Thank you. Investigator, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. On item 7, action items, Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia, Price Group, Mr. Connect.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
This item, Mayor and Council, is one that I've seen before. The city has received a request from All Tech and the Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia to enter into an agreement to elect an alternative price fixed swap for natural gas. The election to choose an alternative price is pursuant to gas supply contract between MGAG and the city and does not alter the terms or supersedes the gas supply contract. This agreement period is from January 25 to June 2025. They're just asking to extend the contract, much like we've done in the past.
All right. Council, any questions for city manager in relation to that? All right, council, is there a motion, to approve the gas supply contract, with Alltech, from January 2025 to June 2025? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion properly second, any discussion? All right, council, this has been good for us, it's been good for them, can't see a reason why they keep coming back, and, I think this is a good deal. All right, any other comments? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries, thank you, council. Let's see.
Item B, Mr. Mayor and Council, is the lead service line replacement program inventory, selection of an engineering firm, Steel Wars Engineering, for contract approval. 3 bids were received in response to a request for proposal seeking engineering consulting services for the lead and copper rule compliance assistance funded by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division. These 3 proposals were received, and Steel Waters Engineering received the highest points based on the scoring criteria. The letter of agreement to provide funding and administration of water service inventory, development, field investigation, services, service line replacement plan, development, and project closeout submitted by Steel Waters has received attorney approval.
All right. Thank you, city manager.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for the city manager? For the question, okay. Council, is there a motion, to approve and authorize the mayor to sign, the letter of agreement to provide funding administration, water service inventory development, field investigation services, service line replacement plan development, and project closeout submitted by Steel Waters. And this document has been already approved by our city attorney. Is there a motion, to approve this contract with Steel Waters?
So moved.
Okay. Have a motion to the proper second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right. Any other questions for the city manager? That relates to these action items, council. All right. Item C, resolution number 2024-08-12-1, Housing Authority Property Conveyance. Council, you have a copy of this resolution in front of you, and basically what is happening here is that the Mitchell County School Board has land that they would like to convey to the Housing Authority. However, state law doesn't allow that. But what they can do is give or convey that property to the city. And by state law, the city can accept this property from the school board, and the law allows the city of Camilla to convey this property to the housing authority. So basically, in this role, the city of Camilla will just be a conduit to get this property to the housing authority. And Madam Attorney, on the resolution here, it says vacant, but just wanted to clarify, it appears that this is located in Camilla. But if approved, any issues with that is that just an administrative error or error script? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, we will change that. We just approve it, the motion to approve it, and for us, for me to correct any scrivener's errors. I'll do that.
We set the address in that too.
Okay.
So that they have administrative purposes.
All right, council. All right, so any questions regarding the resolution or the what this deal is designed to do?
It says that the housing authority has already prepared plans. Did they send over copies of that too?
Not necessarily to us, and because we're really, just acting as a go-between between the two parties, we really, wouldn't have any, because even though it's gonna be conveyed to us, it's not meant to be our property, and what they would do with it. Because I think they tried to do this directly, and then someone found out that, so I'm pretty sure those conversations had already happened.
And there's a specific statute, Councilman Morgan, that allows cities to convey properties to housing authorities. The Board of Education can't, so the city will just be a conduit, if you will, in order to get that, property over to the housing authority to do the work that it does to benefit the public.
I think it's a worthy project. I know again, from residents and even, there is just a lot of talking about what to do with that space, in general, so. Looking forward to seeing it to completion.
Sir, I know, that there was, well, I'll tell you what, let me get the question out, because that, you said that, my friend. Yeah. So council, at this time, is there a motion to accept, or approve resolution 2024-08-12-1, accepting the conveyance of property from the Mitchell County, Education, Board, real property located at 15815 Georgia 93, and authorizing the city attorney to correct any service errors in the resolution, and authorizing the mayor to sign all documents required to facilitate this conveyance, and to convey this property to the housing authority once received. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion probably second, any discussion? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, that address needs to be changed, it is not totally highway 94.
Yeah, and I think as part of the question, we're authorizing the city attorney to correct that.
And then for clarity too, on the map, it's not the actual classroom spaces too, it's just the fields.
Is the field, and this may be related to, and again, I don't know this for a fact, but I know that they were redoing, or the ideas of redoing the housing authority, the properties over there, that they were looking at that property. And I wonder if that's part of that.
Well, actually, Councilman, if you look on that, it's the parcel number. So it's not so much building, it's the entire parcel.
11 acres.
Yeah.
That's behind all the buildings that's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole thing encapsulated everything.
You know, with any kind of development over there, that'd be for housing or anything would be good.
There's one building on here, right? Or is
Looks like the gym.
Oh,
No, the gym is on this side.
It's the property.
It looks like where the, cafeteria was, is that little portion there.
But it looks like it's just a part of it.
No, but it's the whole parcel.
As we know, it's the whole parcel. And again, we're just acting as conduits. It's not like we're gonna do anything with the property. We're gonna go through the county, and then if you guys approve, give it back to us.
That's the whole.
Is this track 2 already owned by the guy?
I think that's school board.
The school board's gonna keep that.
All right, we have a, sorry, Madam Clerk, you get a, good second, okay, good deal. All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, council. All right, at this time, and council
Item D, as you recall, the request from Care Connect Health, your consideration to authorize the mayor to consider on the city's behalf a letter of support for their grant that's due at the end of this month, beginning of September. And what I'll do, council, if given that authority, I'll make sure that whenever I get this to the point that I'll be talking to our city attorney to make sure that we are good to go there. And what I can tell from the conversation, that the consensus would be, if approved, that this council would have an issue with if they can get that grant to bring that service here. The only thing I would be doing is just looking at the language of the letter and sharing it with the city attorney. All right, so at this time, council, is there a motion to authorize the mayor to consider and to sign a letter of support for Care Connect Health to bring a facility here to the city of Sonoma?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been properly seconded, in discussion. All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right, let's do that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor and council, as you know, we had the budget hearing. Most of the items that we talked about, that I had questions about, or we had questions about, Lisa and I have gotten most of it answered. We're meeting again tomorrow. So hopefully I will be submitting something back to you so that you can see it prior to our next meeting within the next week. Toombs Park, we've gotten the electronic locks on. There's still an issue with the internet, hence that's why I have not opened those doors yet, because I need to make sure that the system is going to support it. I spoke to you this morning, Councilman Morgan, about our stormwater project. Obviously, that's going to be a bit intense in the long-term project, but I'm reporting to you tonight that the process has started. Over on the north side, Councilman Burley, there was a communications junction box of some sort that was right in the way that has can pretty much put a halt on a lot of stuff. But now we've figured out who owned it. They said it's abandoned, so we can proceed with the project. And of course, the cemetery bid should be out on the street in the next week, according to what we discussed today. Subject to your questions. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Railroad crossing at Bay Street at City Hall, where are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did reach out to the folks that helped us before. So let me see if I can get that kind of back rescheduled. If not, if I can't get them to help me with it, we might have to do it in-house. But I have not forgotten that project.
It's paid.
Yes, sir, it is. My apologies for not having it on the first go round.
To Mr. City Manager, I was just had a couple of phone calls from some concerned citizens about the dilapidated housing, especially in D1. I know the last update that you sent out to the council was June 5th, and that email stated that you will be, reactivating and getting that project back into place. We are having a lot of individuals that are living in some of these abandoned houses, dilapidated housing. So where are we and where are we on this project now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Councilman Burley. The dilapidated housing project, currently our code enforcement officer is also acting as our manager of that department. I have him doing it, dilapidated housing 1 day a week, which is Thursdays. But now if there's something that he sees people going in and out, then we'll point it to our police department to see if they can monitor that at night. But right now, he's only doing dilapidated housing, just that 1 day a week on Thursdays.
Do you think you need any help in getting this thing done quickly? Because like I say, I know in my area in District 1, there is some houses that haven't had no attention whatsoever.
Yes,
And
sir.
I know it's been on the scale now for at least 2 years.
I think that to answer your question, sir, the focus for us, was code enforcement. And that's kind of where he is right now. And so to step him up and have him do the dilapidated, I could bring somebody, maybe part-time, to help him with the code. But again, they're not necessarily certified, which would, he still gotta go do the part because he's the one who's certified on CPR. But to have somebody to help him to at least identify it, or to watch the grass, talk to those customers with the high grass, to allow him to go do the dilapidated housing, it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, because I know even even riding through the city, a lot of these dilapidated homes, the grass is very high.
Yes, sir.
Some get cut, some don't. I know right there on Ellis Street, I mentioned this probably about 3-4 months ago, about a home, and grass is steady growing. And I know some of them, the citizens there, they are very concerned about it. It got down to the point where they can't even see over in the house. So it's coming to be a problem.
Yes, sir.
I have one for you, Mr. City Manager. I know at our work session, we talked about tree trimmings.
Yes, sir.
I want us to look at North Scott Street, at the intersection of Oakland and North Scott. You're making a right past, driving past the cleaners. Just all those trees headed into, more North Scott Street, all the way down to about Church Street. There's just some overhanging limbs, in that area. Next to the old Rite-Aid and, where
Yes,
his
sir.
fingers is.
Yes, sir. I don't think the last tree trimming a couple of weeks ago, we did not go that far. Yes, sir.
All right.
Have we addressed the tree trimming out on 19?
Which ones?
They're right across from, what it is, McDonald's on the, side going toward, Dairy Queen. That's what that is. They're on the right side.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I know, there was a lot of limbs hanging low, because I walk here during the morning time. I almost have to walk out the road part.
All right, let me look at those and make sure, in fact, they're open to somebody in that private property's yard, or? I don't know.
No, they're on the sidewalk.
Yes, sir. Let me take a look at that one, Councilman.
And I think someone mentioned that once, last week at our work session, by Zoom, we mentioned about those same branches.
All right. So before we move on to the city manager's report and the comments, and specifically regarding, and everybody, I mean this with all due respect. When those railroads got done, we sat right in this room and we talked about it for at least 2 months. Here's what I will recommend to everyone on the council, including this guy. We need for everyone to participate in what we're doing. We can't have this stuff, we have the folks ready to go, we got a whole team here for at least 2 or 3 weeks fixing these railroad tracks. That, from my perspective, that was the time to talk about this stuff. I recognize that we are dealing with some political headwinds, not only in this city, but specifically here in this dais. But that does not absolve any one of us for participating in the process.
We don't have to agree on every single thing. But what I would ask, respectfully, for all my colleagues sitting around the table, to participate, please. Because what we can't do, and what I won't support, is for us to go back in time. These folks were prepared. I think they paid about 70% of what it costs to get these railroads fixed. They would have done anyone we would have told them to do. They just wanted us to cut the asphalt and have a little, they take the debris away. And they were gonna take all the rest of it. These folks are long gone between now and Tallahassee now, fixing other stuff. Please, let's everybody get engaged, good, bad, or indifferent. Let's get engaged so that we can make sure that everybody in this entire city is taken care of. What's the old saying? The squeaky wheel get grease. It's no different legislatively. Some folks are talking about getting stuff done, others are reading magazine. I will not, from my perspective, we want railroads done, we're gonna need folks to come, put it in the budget. I suspect that'll probably cost us about $150,000 to get done. That's what we want to get done, let's get it in the budget. And that's how we settle that. And that's not an administrative deal, that's a legislative deal, that's a policy thing, as it relates to the budget. And that's on the tail end of the city manager's report. Anything else for him? And I'll touch on that a little bit more when I get into the mayor's report. Yes, sir.
Apparently there's a breakdown in management. All those were supposed to be fixed the way it was told to us, and I think you're the one that said it. So what happened to this particular crossing?
Oh, yeah, that's really easy to answer, sir. There was a very specific list of railroads. The one you're talking about wasn't on there.
Why wasn't on there?
Sir, apparently you didn't ask for it.
You were talking with the railroad.
Sir, you weren't. Councilman, I would be more than happy to do your job, sir.
You were talking to the railroad. You contacted him, you said you did.
Councilman, the list of the railroads were discussed for months, if not, well, sorry, for weeks. If you chose, respectfully, to sit there and not advocate for that railroad that's sitting in the middle of your district, sir, that's not on the mayor. Now, if you tell me to, if you say, Mayor Owens, hey, I need you to advocate for my folks over in District 2. I have absolutely no problems doing that, sir.
Break it down into this person.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Any other comments as it relates to the city manager report? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, so some good stuff I want to share with you and some kind of in the middle stuff. All right. Last week, or about 2 weeks ago, we finished up what's called phase 1 of a hotel feasibility study for downtown Camilla. The good news is that based on the numbers and based on that first phase of that feasibility report, it looks like that we can put a 50 to 60 room hotel downtown here in the city of Camilla, and it will pay for itself. We've now gone into phase 2 of that, and hopefully, here in the next month or so, we'll be through phase 2 and ready to bring some hard numbers to the citizens of the city and share that with everyone, so that everybody understands the majority or a lot, let's just say, many
many of these projects, when you see these hotels being built, these are typically, a lot of them are done with bonds. And they belong to the city. And we go out and we let the big name chains compete to put their name on the building. And sometimes after a few years, when they see that it's up and running and it's doing pretty good, they go ahead and buy it. And the city is out of it and now it belongs to them. Well, we are sitting in a real good spot right now, ladies and gentlemen, that hopefully within the next month or so, hopefully, we'll be able to come tell you that you got your brand new hotel comes to downtown development. And that's gonna move large for our economic mobility, going forward. So that's good news there. Scores, Sports Bar Lounge. Had our soft opening, a few weeks ago, and we had our grand opening over the weekend. Business-wise, we are doing very well. And I'll just throw some numbers out there at you so that you kind of understand where we're going. Typically, when the city has invested in certain entities here in the city, we usually use a 20-year mark as it relates to payback, if you will. We paid roughly about $250,000 for the city for scores, and with the other improvements, somewhere in the neighborhood of about $400,000 all in, or a little over. Over 20 years, you're looking at about $2,000, $2,200 per month is what you would pay in order to be made whole over 20 years. $2,200 per month, right? We're doing about $1,800 a night on scores. And we're open 4 nights a week. What does that mean? That means you'll probably get made whole a lot sooner than 20 years. And that also means that taxes, property taxes, and utility rates will remain low. This is the season where if you grab a local paper, if you will, you're going to see advertisements in there saying something like, the city of such and such, or the county of such and such announces that we will be raising property taxes. Y'all probably seen some of those already, right? You know who you hadn't seen in there in the last 5 years? You haven't seen the city of Camilla with that type of advertising and raising property taxes. While other utilities throughout this state are raising utility rates for this reason or that reason, here in the city of Camilla, we are returning money back to our citizens. That's what we're doing here in this city for you. And we're extremely proud of that. And I hope that fair minds will acknowledge that. Rule zone application. This week, we will be presenting or submitting our rule zone application to the state. What does that mean for the citizens of this city? What that means is that if you build something new and we are approved, you build something new within this rule zone area, which will include our downtown all the way to 19 and some Oakland. If you build something new there, you're going to get up to 30% of that money back. If you already own something there, if you renovate it, you'll probably get up to 30% of that back in tax breaks. If you hire someone, you're going to be able to write that person off, on that employee off on your taxes that year. That's why this rule zone designation is so important. Also, last week we had the opportunity to have the number 2 at the DCA here sitting right in this room with a team of folks from DCA. We got approved, our pre-approval, for a $2.5 million grant that will help the developer that's building a new 80-unit apartment complex out there at Gibson Road. $2.5 million with an opportunity to throw another $1 million on top of that in loans. So this developer is potentially on the verge of having $3.5 million in his pocket that he didn't have when he first decided to build that apartment complex over here. We got approved, we made it through the pre-approval process, the DCA came down to Camilla and did what's called a site visit. And hopefully here, within the first 2 weeks of September, we will find out if we received that grant. That's gonna be huge. That is new market rate, affordable housing, workforce housing for the citizens of the city, and more people in this town with disposable income to buy stuff that folks are selling here in this city. Now, I recognize that you guys are not reading a lot of that in the so-called local paper, but I wanted to make sure that you got that. On August 24th, you're gonna have our first annual Fall Music Festival at Centennial Stadium. We said that when we changed that place to an entertainment zone, this is one of the things that we wanted to do. I think as I stand here tonight, we are approaching, if we're not over, 70,000 hits of folks here in this region that hopefully will take it coming down here to the city of Camilla, spending money, staying the night, and enjoying the good hospitality that we have to offer here in this town. Also, what that means is additional revenue that is coming to this city, that again, we don't have to come digging in your pockets to try to get more property taxes and more utility rates. These are the things that we are doing here in your city. I said at the beginning of the year that we were going through what I call a crucible. It's a Marine Corps term that our kids go through in boot camp. It symbolizes the last week of training in boot camp. We're about ready to graduate. We take those kids through some stuff. Politically, I said at the beginning of the year, we're going to have to go through a crucible here in the city. We're almost through it. By the end of this year, the city of Camilla, if we're not already, we're going to be showing this region what it means to be a top tier city in this region. I want everybody in this town to keep your head up, because the folks that are directly infected, we are unbothered by some of the silliness that is coming this way. And I want you to be unbothered to the citizens of this city. We're fine, and we're going to continue to move forward. Lastly, as I mentioned to the city manager at the end of his city manager report, I don't want anybody to take Owens' word for it. All you got to do is go back 12 months. That's it. We got them all online. 12 months and look at every single work session agenda we got. When we bring something to this table, we made it a point to add everybody's name. If you're a council member and you had an idea or you had something you want to bring to the table, we put your name next to it. You can go back and look at the last 12 months and look at the names. What I'm asking folks to do, that if you're going to come here, you need to participate. Our arms are wide open for that. But we're not going to do work for you, though. If you are an elected official, including this guy, if you're an elected official in this town and you want to see some stuff get done, you need to come here and talk. You need to come here and participate. It is probably one of the easiest jobs in the world to sit and knock down everybody else's ideas when you don't have to come up and down on your own. I want that job. But for those of us that are coming here ready to work, I would ask you respectfully to do that. City manager is the administrator. He is not the legislator. He is not the policymaker. We are. His directives come from us. And with that, council, it appears that we've reached the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion. We are adjourned. Thank you. And thank everybody for watching.
All right.
Investigators first.